there's one thing I love doing about Overwatch videos, it's the fact that I can just simply just talk. I've done so many of them over the last couple of years that I can just simply have an open canvas of discussion. That's a weird sentence there, but point is that it's the last day of 2019 and the 2010s as a whole. We're heading into the 2020s, people. It's going to be a very unsettling and scary time, I feel. Mostly because climate change denialism, because there's just so many dickbags who still want to deny that even now. Even in my home country, despite everything that's been happening right now. So it's not great. But regardless of that, I thought it was a good time to just simply reflect on my YouTube channel. It's been going technically, since late 2013. So I've been going for 6 years at this point. And there'd be quite a few people probably asking, why am I still doing this at this point? I have less than 750 subscribers after 6 years, and my channel's kind of gone nowhere. Like, this year was probably the most popular year for my channel since 2016, which is really weird to say, because I didn't gain that many subscribers, but I gained some pretty popular videos. Like, I have some pretty high views on some videos that have come out this year, namely the 2 Formula E game videos that I did. One of them got about, I think, 10,000 views nearly, so that was freaky. When I was at a party and I checked my YouTube channel to see how that went, and I saw that it had 500 views in about 4 hours, that was a shock, because I hadn't had anything like that in quite a while. And in a way, it gave me motivation to keep going, because for a good chunk of 2017, when I was in year 12 and struggling with school and struggling with my hand issues that were coming back at that point, and then 2018 when I was dealing with just a lot of personal issues, like what next? What do I do now? I thought I might as well just give up. But then it hit me that I love doing this sort of thing. I don't get much out of it, but it's a nice archival thing. It's like a vlog now, where I play games, and I do streams with good friends, close friends, and family members on many occasions lately, and I just get to do what I want. It's a small little corner of YouTube, and I'm really happy with what I've managed to do, really, because not many people would stick at this for this long. But I just find it fun. It's a relaxing form of just being able to get my opinions out onto a video and express frustration and talk about a hobby that I've loved since I was very young. And as for that reason alone, I'm just gonna keep doing this. We're approaching 2020, and my video amounts per year have been decreasing, but the massive motivational spike that I had earlier this year got me to basically do over 100 videos this year, because if it wasn't for that mid-year motivational spike, I think we'll have probably had about 70 videos done this year. Most of my videos do have like under 70 views though, but you know, fewer than 70 videos. While I don't know if I can guarantee I'll do over 100 videos again in 2020, I can at least like to think that I'll at least do 70, roughly. Depends on what comes out in 2020 though, game-wise, because there could be a lot of interesting things that could happen, because when I started my channel, half the games I play now weren't even a thing. They were probably an alpha or a concept. You know, now it's completely different. It's, you know, all these games that have changed so much since I started playing them and got back into them because of my YouTube channel. It's just amazing, really, because it makes me wonder how those games will change as time goes even longer now, as there's a whole decade that I have with these games I can play, like Siege and Overwatch and Fortnite and countless other games like Splatoon and Tetris 99. Just stuff like that. It's amazing in a way. I'm quite happy to really just be in the period that I am right now, barring, you know, potential extinction of humanity because of climate change. But you know, everything else has been pretty good so far. Sorry. And to cap off a great 2019 too. Well, actually, it's been a bit of a mixed bag, but generally there's been some really good points. This year, instead of most years where, you know, it starts a bit bleh, has a low point in mid-year and then gets good at the end, this year's been bookended by really good moments. Like the start of the year was probably the best I'd had since the start of year 12, and that was a wonderful time to be alive. There was a lot of personal pride at that point because I had gotten to year 12 despite everything that happened. And then the ending of that year was like, I'm done, I've finished. You know, I don't have to go back to school anymore. Well, in terms of mandatory education, that is. So that's all changing because I'm going to a TAFE course next year and I'm becoming a motor mechanic. Hopefully for a dealer or an established brand like Volkswagen Group, which is the idea. Actually, I'm likely going to be working with Volkswagen Group. And I feel like, yeah, I've loved cars, I've loved motors, I've loved engineering since I was a young kid. Well, not engineering as in like, bridges and, massive construction projects, but, cars and how they work and everything. That's always fascinated me, and I've loved quirky cars, and I've loved all these. The Gran Turismo was a massive influence for me, even Need for Speed Underground, actually. So all these different games have just gotten me so much into, cars and all that, that it's ultimately been a hobby that I could ultimately have as a career, which is well, overjoyous for me, because I've at least now finally got a bit more of a sense of direction as to where I'm gonna go heading into 2020. Whereas when 2017 into 2018 happened, I kind of had no idea what I was doing. I kind of had no idea what I wanted to do. I was anxious about getting a job, admittedly, and then I got one that really threw my expectations up about a job, because I was working 7 till 3 every day for a 5-day week. So I went from having no job in 2018 to the last 2 months of it having a very busy, hectic job. And it made me go, okay, I can deal with this. Better to have an extreme example, in my opinion, in that case, than to have an easier one, which is what my current job is now, sadly. I'm only on for 1 day per week, but I still get a good amount of money per week, and it's enough to have some sort of financial independence, which is always a nice thing to have when you're a teenager. Admittedly, I'm a late-era teenager at this point, because I'm turning 21 in January, so it'd be kind of blurred if I'm considered a teenager still. I personally think I would be until about 23 or something like that, but I don't know at that point. Now that I think about it, I don't think that makes sense for me to be called a teenager at 23. I think 21 would probably be the last year. So yeah, how can I sum up my teenagehood? A bit shit, but I mean, isn't everyone's? And the thing that gets me too is that I wouldn't have been able to identify myself back in 2010 if who I was now was in 2010, and I saw myself back then. I wouldn't be able to identify myself. So much has changed in that period. I've gotten into music. There's been just a massive explosion and acceptance of older hobbies. I mean, again, with the whole cars thing, there was a couple of years there where it didn't interest me that much at all. And if it was for the likes of Forza Horizon and all that, I wouldn't have gotten back into it. And then motorsports like V8 Supercars and Formula 1 and WTCR, stuff like that, it would have just been like, okay. But as a result, I am where I am now, and hopefully 2020 will be at least a little bit better than this year. I'm hoping. I've got good friends around me. I've got good people around me. Bring it on, I guess. Well, that's the end of this video, folks. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. See you later.